And hello, all of my fellow nerds out there. This is Oracle Nerd Richie, and welcome back once again to another episode of Danganronpa Lapse. So in the last episode, we decided to split up into two teams of three to try to investigate the rest of the mansion. The doors in the that we thought were the escape route, turned out to just lead to the rest of the mansion. Yeah, there's that. But we're here to talk about each of them, I guess, to see what they expect to find from this. So I guess we uh I guess we talk to Say first. I'm gonna go from bottom to top this time. Say, did you have any preference? No, I'll go with whoever. I don't care. You pick. Okay. So whichever group I decide to go with, Say will likely join the other. What do you think you'll find? Who can say? I certainly don't know what to expect, but I'll do my best to assist Missy in her endeavors. Oh, I see. I'm not sure what I can offer to the investigation. Half of a memorable experience in the overall scheme. Don't fret. If you can't lend a hand, keep in mind simply the impact we have on other people. We're important to each other. Right? Kananota. I approached Canon wishing to apologize for what happened yesterday. Er, I didn't quite know what to say. Just say you're sorry for yesterday and offer or something. Jeez, it's not that hard. Canon didn't lift her eyes to meet mine as I tried to organize my thoughts. Echo, hustle! Please, Echo, the time is of the essence. Can I continue to stay silent? Ugh, fine. I guess we ask each of them. But I mean, if this is gonna be my final decision just in case. Let's talk to Lyle first. Echo, hurry it up, will you? I know. I need some time to think. The worst action is inaction. We have to dig up this miserable place's secrets. Lyle, if Lyle's patience wasn't already paper thin, I'd just applied a hydraulic press at top of my indecision. Are you having trouble deciding? A little. I'm honestly worried that something bad might happen. It's perfectly normal to feel fear. It means you're still human. Your senses haven't accumulated to the awful environment. Come on, you all. I'm being very generous right now. You don't want your opportunity to go to waste, do ya? Time's a wasting. His taunting voice rung through the halls once more, his laugh cackling through the speakers. This feels like an important choice. Yeah, you don't think. Yeah, you don't say. Perhaps I should think carefully. Oh. Oh, we actually get to choose the group. All right. Cool. So this is where the final decision comes in. I might go back to see what the other group's stuff is, but hmm. I think we should go with Lyle. Like I I don't know. I kind of want to explore the unknown and see what new stuff is out there. There, I don't know. Maybe I'll go back and check the other dialogue as well at some point, because I'm pretty sure it'll end up in the same conclusion anyways. All right, let's go with Lyle's group. Join Lyle and Kenan in exploring beyond the doors. Yes, I'll go with Lyle and Kenan then. It was decided. Join Lyle and Kenan near the foyer doors. Say join Missy and Forte on the opposite side of the center glass table. Then that's that. We'll investigate to our fullest abilities and rendezvous here before 4 p.m. That alright with you, Lyle? Yes, ma'am. Lyle had already begun walking past the doors before she asked. Kenan silently matched his pace. I hastened to keep up. We stepped through the doorway into the darkness. My eyes adjusted to the dim lighting as we quickly met with the stairs that tumbled down into the dark length. Not a single word was exchanged between the three of us as we trudged down the steps further away from the foyer's glittering hall. An anxious feeling rose into my stomach as I glanced back at the dying light. The other group was already out of sight. After some time, the foreign floor beneath us revealed itself as the bottom of the stairs. A hidden floor we gained access to stood in dark contrast to the previous floors. The lighting was dim, the walls dark and cool. Regardless, though, it remained decorated with dedicated gold furnishings, a familiar service kiosk. An elevator hall divided the room in two equal halves, similarly to the main floor. Hey, looks like we can take this elevator back to the main wing, huh? Probably. But it but what's the use of going back now? We made a decision to split up and we need to investigate. Look for an exit. Does that really need to be said? Lyle instructed the two of us, but before anyone could get very far, we could hear the unfortunately now familiar speaker cackle. Hmm? So you all decided to split up, huh? That's alright. No sweat off my back, figuratively speaking, obviously. Thanks to your fancy bracelets, I can still locate where you are. There's no escaping for you quite yet. Anyway, I have a very special big motive for you all later, but for now, some fun little gifts. Not for everyone, mind you. These will be for Canon and Missy respectively at the nearest kiosk. Grab it if you want, or leave it if for someone else to stumble upon. I don't care. At this point, whatever you do is meaningless anyway. Huh? I wasn't sure if that was just me, but I felt like Zero's tone was different. I'll check back later with you folks. Enjoy your investigation! The announcement ended. Lyle went over to the foyer kiosk as directed. Cannon hurried to put herself between Lyle and the kiosk. So fast! There was no way I'm letting you see whatever's messed up shit is. Huh? How do we know it's going to be bad? Everything in this place has been nothing but bad, genius. What makes you think? God, I have something stuck in my throat. What makes you think this is any of your business anyway? Lau rolled his eyes and left Cannon to relative peace, going about his way to search for an exit. I stood by in curiosity as the kiosk printed a small sheet, blank face up. Cannon rips the sheet out of the receiver and balls up in her fist and stuffs it in her pocket without a glance. I won't fall for any motives if I don't look at the things Zero's trying to tease me with, right? I guess so. Let's see. Here's a map of the current floor. Doesn't look like there's much here. Ooh. Two long halls parallel to each other on the opposite side of the room. Towards the back, opposite of the stairs, were two larger rooms. One trophy room and the other. What the? The other room is redacted. Even so, we're here anyway, so we could just visit the room itself to see what it is. We stepped away from the kiosk to explore the underground floor. As we passed the two side halls, I took a peek in. They were listed as multi-purpose event halls, decorated settings, and large gatherings. The large rooms were sparsely decorated with a number of tables and chairs, and not much else. The event halls were pretty, but like much of the building, they lacked any sort of quality of life. Cannon and I wandered about, but not for very long. Nothing glaringly strange caught our attention. It was as if this place was never meant to be anything more than recreational. The entire time we explored, Cannon kept a safe distance from me as I pondered when the best time to make amends is. Lau was waiting for us back where we started. About time you lot caught up. What did you expect? You didn't demand we all travel glued at the hip. Hey now. The two glared at each other, the palpable tension burned in the air. Ahem, so did you find any sign of an exit? No. The hallway behind me just goes to a shared elevator. Not an exit in sight. But I haven't looked in either of these rooms yet. One of the rooms is listed as a trophy room and the other is strangely redacted. Then let's check out the redacted one. My interest is piqued. The three of us approached the unlisted room. Testing chambers. I think that's what it says. Testing chambers, right? There was a metal nameplate on the door, but it was scratched out. The laser engraving lost underneath the messy hacking. Of course, the name is conveniently scratched away. Come on, dude. If I can read it, you can read it. Yeah. Lau rattled the doorknob, but it was locked tight. Uh, or our entry blocked. Or our entry blocked by an active keypad. See? Nothing bad. The keypad's light indicator was red, waiting for a 6-digit code to unlock the door. What's with the keypad? How should I know? Well, you disabled the trap on the main foyer's door, didn't you? That's because there was a hidden panel in the wall in the main foyer. I just turned it off. Nothing fancy. Is this any different? A keypad is plenty different. If we input an incorrect code, it'll likely shut us out permanently. Lowell shrugged dejectedly. Unless we find a code, I suggest we leave this door alone until we're certain that something works. Why don't we just check out the trophy room? Maybe we can find some clues in there. Lowell grumbled but started towards the trophy room on the other side. I highly doubt it would be that convenient to find the code, but there's nothing left to lose. Upon entering the trophy room, we greeted with, "Is that a bear?" "It's not alive, it's a taxidermy bear." I nearly toppled backwards at the sight of the room was filled with unmoving animals, posed in their most intimidating predatory state. Lyle and Cat had drifted in. I gulped and slipped in. Inside, there were displays of smaller animals, foxes, rabbits, squirrels even. Towards the back of the room were hunting weapons, crossbows, rifles, hatchets. I'm glad this room was hidden from the start. I muttered the observation to myself, but I didn't give much effort. Even though the large selection of weapons was inaccessible, danger still managed to find its way through. I sighed and continued my search for the code or signs of an exit. What felt like an eternity passed. We turned the room upside down, looking for hints or clues in the keypad or otherwise, but all came up empty-handed. I sat down in one of the lounge chairs and took a beat. Searching and searching to no avail, only proved to load more exhaustion on my already tense shoulders. What now? In moments when I was Lau and Cannon were just aimlessly idling in the trophy room, their empty eyes falling on the miscellaneous decor. Crackling of static in the air stifled the brief repose we found ourselves in, reminding us that we were still in the midst of a game's encompassing shroud. Hey, just checking in with you all. Having fun exploring the new digs? I bet you are. I have two more fun little gifts for you folks. Forte and Say. There's Salomon, there's Solemn Song for the former, and for the latter, nothing. You're kind of insignificant. So such gift suits you as the person, yeah? Oh, don't be such an asshole to say. Enjoy this weird tune if you can. It's all in German, so it's nonsense to me. Zero's voice dropped out and the tune carried on softly. A gentle haunting piano accompanying the droning gentle vocals. I couldn't comprehend what was being said, but the atmosphere the song created was unnerving. Wait, both these gifts were directed at Forte and Say? But they're in a group together. Missing and cannons were given individually. Zero even said that it didn't matter that we split into two groups. So? Lao's voice from across the trophy room startled me. So nothing. I was just wondering out loud why that was the case. It's more than likely he knows something we don't. Well, I hope they're okay then. All three of them receiving something strange is kind of worrisome. I trailed off, watching Lyle pace restlessly up and down the room. I wasn't sure if it was just the silence between us, but it sounded like the music was getting louder. Lyle came to a stop in the center of the room, stuffed his hands in his pockets in frustrated resignation. Damn it, this is ridiculous. Zero commanded we test our strength by opening that stupid door, so we could just make a mess of his trophy room? It reeks of inanity. Nothing is connecting, nothing makes sense. Being in a killing game isn't some puzzle where you jigsaw all the pieces together. I don't think there's any sense in it at all, unless you are some twisted sadist. There has to be a reason for this, to put this all together and just as quickly tear us apart. For something as malicious as this game, reason got up and left a long time ago. You're talking like you're not a part of this. I've been trying my best not to involve myself, period. But you are involved. You're inextricably, unavoidably, indivisibly a part of this game. I no, I don't. You don't get you say you're not a part of this. Weren't you the one who had a conclusive proof of the first killer? Didn't you push the last trial forward by realizing Echo hadn't seen an important message? What makes you think you can pick and choose you want to participate in? How can you be so cold and unfeeling about all this? You can't have any good reason to be constantly be turning your back to all this treachery when you're completely steeped in the involvement. Cannon was dumbfounded. Sh- Shut up, Lyle! Cannon was shaken. At this point, the music had grown into an echoing drone, the murmur of the piano keys striking something fearful in my heart. Lyle and I stepped back. The tension in the air was heavy as Cannon's biting glare commanded all our attention. Who do you think you are? Cannon's voice was a low growl. Her eyes were mixed with stifling and chilling torment. Cannon. I tried to shake out something, anything, to her to quench her invisible fury, but my throat was dry. She darted back towards the back of the room and clunk. I didn't get to read all that. The lights went out. What the? Ah! Lyle? His voice cried out in agony. I tried to follow the voice, but it was pitch black. I couldn't see anything and lost my footing in the rich darkness. What's going on? Static popped in and out of the speaker before any announcement could be made. Crunch. Uh, ack. I felt my back splitting in two. A fiery pain unlike any other tore my skin, dug through my muscles, and split my bone. I fell to the ground, my limbs falling and catching this. Did we just die? Cadnan? My body felt limp and consciousness escaped me. Did we die? Bad end? Bad end! Hananota lost. Wait, what? Even I didn't even know that was a thing that could happen. Oh my god! Wait, there's two endings. All right, all right. So clearly, the option to go with is actually Missy's. Hey, yes, I'll go with Missy and Forte. It was decided. I joined Missy and Forte on the opposite side of the center glass table. Say joined Lyle and Cannon near the foyer doors. Then that's that. We'll investigate to our fullest abilities and rendezvous us here before 4 p.m. Is that alright with you, Lyle? Yes, ma'am. I already began walking past the doors before she asked. Cannon silently matched his pace and Say scurried to catch up. As the three faded out of sight, I immediately began to feel uneasy. Is this okay, splitting up? Come now, Echo. A choice has been made. The general consensus was that we were to split up evenly if we wanted to comb the building in a timely manner. Yeah, sorry. I'm just a little worried. I couldn't shake the remnant hostility between Lyle and Cannon's argument this morning. There was a crackle of static before Zero started speaking again. Hmm? Okay, yeah, we've seen this dialogue already. She went over to the kiosk. Similar to the victim report, a kiosk printed out a small sheet, blank face up. What is it? What is it? Don't feel any pressure to share it if it's unpleasant. To be frank, I'm only expecting unpleasant. Missy tore the small sheet from the print feed and flipped it around. As if being beholden to her vexing gift wasn't enough, I have this to remind me of the game's treachery. She showed us the front of the sheet, a photograph of Darling, drenched in blood. A mocking picture of her death. Missy spat the words Forte and I took. Forte and I took a quick look before turning our gaze away from the horrific sight. It's truly despicable. Missy stared at it a little longer before showing the picture within her inner coat pocket. We re- we really, we really must get to the bottom of this treachery. I'm revolted by how condescending this game treats lives. Missy turned down the living quarters down towards Cyrus's room. It didn't occur to me until we arrived at his door that we don't have a way in, do we? What do you mean? Isn't the door locked? Desperate times call for desperate measures, don't you think? Missy withdrew Darling's dagger and swiftly struck the doorknob off. I don't exactly have Cyrus's ID bracelet now, do I? I guess not. Missy inspected the bore hole previously occupied by a doorknob and inserted the dagger, pulling the latch away from the jamb until the door clicked open. And there we are. Do you think this would be against the rules? It wasn't explicitly stated. However, if it were, I'll deal with the fallout in the courtroom. Missy is persistent. She opened the door and marched straight in. Terribly sorry for the intrusion. Forte stepped in and I trailed along behind him. Honestly, I didn't even know I could get a bad ending in this game. Like, damn. Cyrus' room had little defining feature in it. Similar to mine, Forte's and Ashley's in design. The only thing setting it apart was the sort of manila file folders on the bedside table. Aha. It was only a hunch, but it seems like I was right in presuming Cyrus had information about us. Missy fanned the folders across the bed and began her search. Here, grab a folder and see if you can find anything interesting about our situation. Forte helped himself to a folder and glanced at the first few pages before seating himself in a spare chair. Are we looking for anything specific? Anything at all, honestly. The more we know, the better. I picked up the folder at the bottom of the pile and sat cross-legged on the floor and opened the file. Found floor plans of the building. There were some general blueprint diagrams. Nothing I could really make sense of. Not that they looked much different from the maps displayed in the kiosks. The only thing to know was a sheet was stained with blood in the corner. Among the blueprints was a small booklet. The title of Floor Plans Game L. On the inside page, 5 floors were listed in the index. Wait, 5 floors? From the top we have... Ooh. Superstructure Trial Grounds Infirmary. Living Quarters Casino Smoke... Yeah, we all know that. We all knew those ones. Room X. Collections. Trophy Room. Something else. The last floor listed had 2 sections. One was the trophy room, the other was redacted. So Lyle, Cannon, and Say are probably visiting the trophy room in the floor below us. I started through the booklet and found basic information we had already known. All floors have kiosks to communicate. Bracelets are used for identification. Active hours are from... Nothing new yet. Or when I arrived toward the final pages, I noticed they were torn out. Whatever remained of the page stuck out from the binding in a messy tear. I grumbled. Of course, the details of the floor beneath us are conveniently gone. I stared at the back panel and noticed something odd. There seemed to be an imprint of writing pressed into the back panel. It was barely visible, but with the right light, I could just make it out. 251110. Oh, wait, that's code. That's the code for the other room. Ooh, okay, I got it, yeah. Maybe Cyrus himself wrote the numbers on the last page with a certain amount of pressure, resulting in an almost invisible imprint. Oh wait, I see it now. 251110. Okay, well, I gotta remember it. 251110. These numbers may have been important, seeing as the pages were left torn, or they could have made a mistake, and that's why these pages were removed. Have you two anything pertinent to share? I snapped out of my concentration. Oh, yeah, I found the floor plans that show the floor below ours. From the looks of it, Lyle, Cannon, and Say went down to the trophy room. A trophy room? That doesn't sound too promising. Well, there seems to be another room and it's crossed out, so I can't figure out what's there. Also, take a look at this. There's some numbers just barely visible here. I show Missy the imprint of the numbers in the back panel. What do you suppose these 6 digits could mean? Code, code perhaps? But I don't recall encountering any sort of code-locked door in the immediate facility. Then it's likely a code is meant to be used in an area where the 3 of them went. Right. That said, let's finish our investigation before we visit them. When we rejoin them, we'll see what discoveries they have to report, and whether or not the code will be of use after all. I nodded and made a point to memorize the numbers before setting the booklet aside. Forte, did you find anything of note? I came across our class dossier, namely student profiles about each of us. Student profiles? Did you find anything about me? I was still wondering why exactly I was involved in the game since I didn't explicitly was given an ultimate talent. I have exhausted the files on hand and I didn't see your name anywhere. Oh, I see. I'm terribly sorry. I understand it's been bothersome to be here as an unexplained outlier. Again, Eve already explained it. We're the ultimate memory, for Pete's sake, dude. Like, come on, it can't be that hard to understand. It's not your fault, Forte. I guess it's coincidence. Although, I did come across something useful. These student profiles have an immense amount of background details. Important figures, significant others, fears, other miscellany. But other than Cyrus, no one present has any background involvement with the game. So all of us present are just victims of coincidence. It seems statistically improbable given our rare talent expertise. Yes and no? How shall I explain it? To start, as we are aware, the minimum requirement to come here was to be an ultimate student that received the letter of recognition from the preservation project. Should they have accepted the offer for protection, there was a period of time between sending the letter and back and, I suppose, being whisked away to this secret location. It seems in that period of time there was a sorting method to creating the class. Classes were to be composed of pairs of ultimate students. These pairs of ultimate students would have to be 2 people who were significantly involved in one way or the other. For example, of the folks we did see from day 1, Art and Lau were apparently considered to be close enough for pairing off. Though it appears this roster would have included a few other students that would have formed pairs, but aren't present. One can only assume Cyrus himself crossed out the students that are absent. However, there are 2 students that aren't crossed out, which may require further inspection, and, well, it would be best if you saw for yourselves. Forte revealed the roster of students' names and talents. Oh? Whoa! There were 15 profiles shown on the roster. One next to Cyrus was clipped out, and 5 were crossed out in dark ink, bringing the total of students' profile visible to us to 11. Yeah, there's like a few of them. So Zero's real name is A. Quartz. Ashley Westbridge, G. Espere, cartographer. Okay. However, I wasn't on the roster, so it should have been brought down to the number down to 9 since I was excluded. Peculiar. As you noted, there were 2 extra students we still have yet to encounter. Yes, they are listed as being in association with Say and Pandora from the looks of it. Does that mean they're also ultimate students? That is indeed the case. They are listed as the ultimate radio host and ultimate cartographer. Akihiko Quartz and Gaia Espere. Zero's real name is Akihiko? Gaia Espere? Let's have a closer look at these 2 students. Missy hastily moved aside the folders strewn across the bed and placed the students' profiles of Akihiko Quartz and Gaia Espere. Akihiko Quartz looked like Zero. His clothing and hair were different colors, but his actual features were the same. And Gaia Espere looked awfully similar to Pandora. Even more damning were their school students' symbols depicted along their profile pictures. Well, one thing is for certain. It's clear to us now that Zero's true identity is Akihiko Quartz. And we can conclusively put a face on the second mysterious announcer named Eve. It seems that Pandora must have known more than she was letting on, seeing as the true identity of Eve appears to be her very own sibling. That said, seeing as the students' associations have been revealed, it can only mean knowing Akihiko has some sort of further involvement with this game. There's no doubt. Sei must be the mole we are seeking. No, come on, man. Why it gotta be Sei? My head was spinning. Were we being fooled from the start? Two people on the inside were connected to two entities administering this game? Shouldn't we confront Sei now that we know she might be up to something? Doing so could prove dangerous. I would like to watch her movements to see what she's thinking. As far as she's aware, we don't she doesn't know we're onto her. It's difficult to determine what was going on in her mind. She speaks so little. Then I think we should check out Pandora's room. She might have something hidden in there since she's part of this. Excellent idea. I'd still like to look over the rest of the files if you don't mind. I'll go with you, Echo. I'm curious to know what Art's notable gift was. If you would like to make a detour. I nodded and approached the exit. Oh, just a minute. Missy gave the dagger to Forte. You can use this dagger to knock the doorknob off like I did earlier. On second thought, I don't know if I want to leave you alone like this. I'll be fine. I have the gun in my person. I don't want to resort to firing it, but seeing as our situation is becoming more contentious, it may not be my choice. I felt a shiver go up my spine. Missy was taking the situation much more seriously that with a chillingly unfeeling demeanor. Understood. We'll make haste in our investigation and return promptly. Okay, well, seeing as I haven't died yet, I'm assuming this is the good path. Forte and I stepped out of Cyrus's room and walked to the opposite hall to Art's room. There, Forte struck the doorknob, pulled back the latch, and opened the door. Everything in Art's room was a worn-looking golf bag. The leather bag was embroidered with the Campopiano name. Oh, this must have belonged to his grandfather. Art must have been reminded of his past time golfing with him. It must have been distressing to see this upon waking, to say the least. Forte let out a heavy sigh. It's unfortunate, but it explains his reaction to Pandora's question. Now knowing she might be involved, do you think she goaded him on? That would be quite masochistic, wouldn't it? And to what benefit? After all, she fell by his hand. That's true. Forte paused. Do you believe the flap of a butterfly's wings could cause a hurricane? Huh? A little thing like a butterfly creating a disaster sounds improbable. It's a theory. Minute occurrences within similar initial starting conditions can lead to the drastically different outcomes. This situation could very well be one of those drastic outcomes. Oh, you mean like a butterfly effect? Are you speculating Pandora set this entire scenario off by purposefully inciting the first murder? Who can say that was her intention? Besides, her interactions were never of ill will, were they? She was kind to everyone, so who's to say perhaps the flap of this butterfly's wings caused the storm that would eventually give way to the shining rainbow that will grace our skies? That's a pretty optimistic outlook. Looking for looking forward to the eventual repose from this nightmare is is all we have, isn't it? Eventual repose. I can only hope something like that would free us from the trappings of the storm. Though, why should we wait for something minuscule out of control like the wind to dictate our fate? I'm keen on taking such matters in my own hands if need be. I'm not I'm not sure I would know where to begin with such an endeavor. Well, that's neither here nor there at the moment. Shall we move on to Pandora's room? Yeah, let's check it out. We left Art's room and visited the living quarters on the other side of the foyer. Entering Pandora's room is the same fashion once again. Forte and I came upon yet another nondescript personal room. Only this time there was nothing to be found in her room. Huh? Did Pandora not receive some kind of gift from some kind of room gift? Perhaps because she was involved, there was no need. But Say has one, a creepy one at that. Yes, an ominous skull and bones statuette. The two of us peeked into the dresser and were greeted with nothing but stationery and other miscellaneous. Wait, what if what if she was doing what Cannon did? Hmm? Cannon said she received that instant camera, right? And she's been clinging to it basically since the beginning of the whole predicament. That certainly wouldn't be out of the question. Do you recall anything Pandora might have had that would be grounds for suspicion? Yeah, that secret note. She showed it to me just before nighttime on day 2. At first, I thought something was fishy, but that maybe she was hiding something, but I pressed my fingers to my temple. I don't know. Pandora ended up suffering and the note fell into Lyle's hands. Maybe the secret note was her vexing gift. But if she were some kind of double agent, why would she nonchalantly share the note with me? Who can say? I sighed. The more we know, the better. I couldn't help but think the opposite. As as we dug up more information, the more confused I became. I can only hope whatever Lyle, Cannon, and Say found would answer the many questions, but at the same time, I was afraid to uncover more of these secrets. Let's return to Missy with our findings. Returning to Cyrus's room once more, fortunately I found Missy in deep concentration. Welcome back. Did you two find anything interesting? Art had his late grandfather's golf clubs in his room, and Pandora had nothing. Nothing? Echo speculates that perhaps the secret note mentioned from the first trial may be Pandora's room gift, in some in the same fashion as Cannon's instant camera. The room was empty. She probably kept the note on her person for safekeeping, or something. But when she left it in the pantry in the third day, Lyle had been holding out onto it since. Hmm. We'll have to take a closer look at it when we rendezvous with Lyle. Missy returned her intense glower to the mess of documents. Anything new here? A disturbing amount of news, yes. Take a seat. Forte and I sat in the spare chairs and gave Missy our full attention. She sat in momentarily silence, her fierce gaze transfixed on the folders. I've been reading on a history of involvement. The involvement of ultimate students in killing games, just like this one. Killing games, plural? As in multiple? Yes. I know it's startling to say the least. In that case, that reminds me. In the folder I looked at, our game was labeled Game L. What do you think Game L means in terms of these multiple games? I believe in the context, L is a Roman numeral for 50, so our game is the 50th game. 50 games? Oh, a definitive number of help and enumerate how long this has been occurring. Let's see. If 49 games have taken place over the span of approximately 7 days, at most with no break between each game, that That's 343 days, almost a year's worth of this hell. I I don't understand. I believe that tracks. I remember hearing about this project sometime late in my junior year. Why so many games, you may ask? These games were implemented with alternate students in mind. Alternate students would be the prime subjects for rigorous tests and scenarios involving battling to the best of their ability. To overcome other alternate students and come out on top to be the best of the best, these experiments were used to determine who could carry the fortune. The preservation project and this killing game, they're they're one and the same. They're one and the same. It seems we aren't just the one in a million occurrence. But why? My voice cracked. So this place? It's just some kind of petri dish for creating an ultimate student that has no moral regard for what they're doing? The preservation project has washed their hands of their concerns with morality. It's clear in this documented history. What if it's fabricated, all fake to stoke fear? It's very possible. Fear is a powerful tactic. Cyrus himself, after knowing all this, had very little room to operate. He was under a considerable amount of pressure, and eventually collapsed. I was shaking. Comprehension of the situation was the last thing on my mind. Fear chilled me to the bone. Missy, aren't you afraid at all? I'm mortified. However, knowing the darkness that lurks behind the malicious people's intentions is nothing new to me. Calling the individual person simply a constituent to strip humanity in the amassing voting numbers is nothing but numbers. We play to live ammo. We play live ammo. A game toying with the livelihood of wildly talented students, enabling a maddening battle royale to create a singular, albeit misdirected, towering ultimate student. Missy exhaled sharply. This must end now. Missy stormed out of the room. Missy! Forte and I chased after her. Missy stood arms crossed at the elevator. She was embroiled in thought, her brow knit, her posture imposing. Are you are you in full possession of your faculties? Uh, you aren't one to charge forward like so. I hate to say that I only have a hunch. I've little to rely on, but gut feeling lately, and have nothing but instinct to justify acting upon them. I have nothing except. She held up the photograph and pinned it to the wall with a dagger. Nothing but a vengeance for bringing with this establishment to the ground in a burning hell for all the suffering it's put us through. I was so misguided, so blindsided for thinking I wanted to be part of the preservation project. I've been played for a fool. Missy, none of us could have known this would be our fate. It's possible that the two conspirators must have known something from the start. Rather than confront the one remaining, we must attack the source. The elevator chimed and Missy stepped in. We're going to the courtroom. Only the monotonous elevator hum filled our ears as we traveled to the courtroom floor. We entered a dark circular room once more, this time without explicit orders to determine a culprit. It was quiet, the windows were pitch black, Zero was nowhere to be found. Missy swept in, looking for any indication of the announcer's holographic representation. Forte and I filtered into the empty room aimlessly. Can't see a thing through these windows. It should be early afternoon about now, shouldn't it? Perhaps there are shutters covering the windows, if I recall correctly. They closed after the trial. Forte ran his hand across the wall, feeling the creases that lined the foundation, seams running in miscellaneous ranks and files. Urgh. Forte tried prying one of the side doors open, but to no avail. He knocked on the wall, resulting in echo bouncing beyond the barrier. There's empty space beyond this wall. It probably only opens when the student is being executed. You think Zero's operator is hiding where the executions take place? I gulped. It was not a sight I wanted to think about. Hmm. I guess it would have been too easy to visit the courtroom after Zero encouraged us to investigate the area. Missy stepped down from the elevator again. The infirmary has nothing of note either. Missy circled the courtroom stance once before settling at her indicated place. She leaned back and crossed her arms, a tense expression painted on her face. Even if we found Zero, how were you going to get any information out of him? He must have known we broke into Cyrus's room, so he might be even more cautious. If I can get him to start talking, we're over halfway there. It's about running a conversation long to allow us an opening, whether it be in contradiction or unknown fact. The more he talks, the faster his options will diminish. That said, we've entered the most damning areas with little to show for. I feel as though we've hit a dead end. It's possible Lyle Cannon and Say have had better luck on finding information in their search. We can only hope they turn up with something of note. The three of us were steeped in a long contemplative silence. I sighed, thinking about meeting up with the others, wondering if they were just as luckless as we were in finding anything of use. I thought about Cannon and remembered. Missy, do you happen to have Cannon's photo, the one from last night? I know I said I didn't want it, but oh, certainly. I didn't have time to patch it together, though. Missy drew the two halves of the group photo from her pocket. I lined the two halves together and gazed at the moment in time that was quickly dashed. That's okay. I awkwardly stole soft looks from Forte and Missy. They seemed to understand that I felt remorseful for what I had done. I want to return it. A body has been discovered in the trophy room. Oh no. Oh no 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 no. Please don't let it be my girl. No. Oh dear. Quickly. Wait. Wait, but there's six of us. We rushed back to the elevator, hurriedly clicking the button for the foyer. The foyer floor light chimed. The door slid open after what felt like an eternity, and we felt greeted with a bloody sight. Oh, Ken! Hatchet was buried deep in the back of Cannon's lifeless body. Blood stained the polished floors. The fresh liquid reflected upon the glossy surface, creating a haunting glow in the middle of the foyer. Cannon! Damn it! Missy and Forte bolted out of the lift while I remained frozen in the elevator cab. Sickening metallic odor filled my senses, and I felt a cold sweat from my brow. Missy and Forte were huddled in concern over Cannon's body, the, but they were clearly no use. But it was clearly no use. She was gone. But the body discovery announcement said it was in the trophy room. Did that mean the announcement rung for Lyle? Was Say really behind all this after all? Above Missy and Forte's clamoring, I heard a strange sound. Dread possessed me. Missy, Forte! As the foyer chandelier came crashing down on Missy and Forte. Ooh, they were completely crushed by the chandelier, their bodies lost under the tons of shards of glass. I could hardly muster a sound. I was shell-shocked. Glass and blood littered the floor before me. The, the glistening liquids reflected on the marble floor doubled the terror of my mortified visage. This nightmarish brought me to tumbling to my knees, dread oozing through every part of my body. My breath was falling out of pieces. My vision became blurry and red from panic. The elevator doors came to automatic close in sight. The sight of the three friends brutally killed. My hand stopped the door. No! I swear to God if you made Say into a killer. Ah! I felt a sharp impact compromise my bones. The cracks creaked through my system through blazing pain. Ah! Something was sticking out of my shoulder. It looked like bolt? The heat from the pain, the chill from the terror. I felt heavy and weak. I couldn't lift my eyes to see who attacked me. My whole body crumpled without a fight. My head knocked into the floor, causing me to see stars and nothing. Wait, don't tell me that's another bad end. I I did it, right? That voice. I followed the rules of this stupid killing game, so please, please, please get me out of here. Another prize is freedom, right? It's Say? Aki, please. I know it's your voice, so listen to mine and help me. The ultimate prize. Zero's voice. You don't want the prize. Zero's voice is weird again. No, killing isn't the answer. What? After Say's remorseful cry, I could hear a pin drop. I could feel my heart struggling as my adrenaline rose. Killing isn't the answer? Then what are we doing here? This is wrong. It's all wrong. Hold on, No, was that another bad end? Wait. Wait, whoa, 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 whoa. What was that? Come on, you all. I'm being very generous now. You don't want your opportunity to go to waste, do ya? Time's a wasting. Zero's taunting voice rung through the hall. Oh, wait. Wait, this is their ultimate talent. Oh, I see what you're doing here. You made us the ultimate memory because we can go back in time now. Okay, to be honest, that's a very cool power. This feels like an important choice. Oh, we're back here. Oh, shit. Okay, as much as I want to stop here, I kind of want to continue, to be honest. I kind of want to continue, but unfortunately, I'm gonna leave it at this. So next time, we're gonna be joining Lyle and Cannon again to hopefully solve this mystery. Okay, so I also gotta remember the codes 251110. Okay, so anyways. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to leave a like, comment what you think, share this video with your friends, and be sure to subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss a single notification. I'll see all of you in the next video. Goodbye.
You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a